Hi, this is Craig Kirstner, President of Kirstner Wealth Management. What we're going to talk about today is what makes our retirement planning firm different and show you some of the tools and strategies we might use to assist people in their retirement planning needs. The retirees we sit down with have typically won the game of wealth, and at this point in their lives they're looking to help preserve their wealth and leave a legacy to their family after they're gone. We typically meet with retirees ages 65 to 85 with between 1 million to 10 million or more of net worth, and at this point they never want to go through another 50% drop in their retirement assets again. The retirees we meet with are usually switching from the growth stage of investing to the distribution stage of investing, which may need different tools and strategies. This is what our retirement plan firm focuses on. So to accomplish this, we invest in technology. The first piece of technology we use is this 65-inch smartboard where we discuss plans and strategies with you, ideally in a simpler and easy to understand format. Isn't this board neat, by the way? Oftentimes, people I meet with are pleased about this board because they can actually read it without using their glasses. We also use this software called Riskalyze. Riskalyze is a framework of software that helps us identify how much risk you want to take now and how much risk you actually have in your retirement portfolio. It'll show us how much you're paying in fees on your retirement plan, and most importantly, how much you might lose with your current retirement plan should we go through another 2008 and 9 crash again. When we get together, we're looking forward to do this analysis on your retirement plan, and the great news is that this is a very easy to understand analysis specific to your situation. Let's talk about taxes. I'm not an accountant or an attorney. However, we know the current tax cuts will expire in 2026. So we have a window of opportunity to take advantage of the current tax rates before they increase in 2026. We use this software Holistiplan in conjunction with your accountant to help identify what tax bracket you're in now and look at strategies to take advantage of the current tax brackets we have. If you have substantial IRA accumulations, understand that someone will have to pay tax on that money in the future, whether it's you or your children when they take that money out. And there are no more stretch IRAs for your children. Most children, when they inherit your IRA, will only have 10 years to completely empty out your IRA after you die. So let me ask you a question. If you were a farmer, would you rather pay taxes on the penny seed or the 8-foot-tall wheat? Well, clearly you'd rather pay tax on the seeds, not the dollars. That's why you might want to look at partial Roth IRA conversions, so you would choose to pay tax now versus later alongside your accountant. The additional benefit is that if the IRA grows, the Roth IRA grows in the future, you won't have to pay tax on that growth, and your children won't have to pay taxes later either. The last potential benefit of a Roth IRA is that many people I meet with are husbands and wives, and if one of you were to pass away, the surviving spouse would then be a single tax filer, so they could be subject to higher income taxes. The Roth IRA could allow the surviving spouse to use that money without any taxes owed on the money withdrawn. We could talk more about this when we get together and work with your accountant to put together a plan that might make sense for you. Now, let's look at our 3-bucket approach to investing. We believe in this 3-bucket approach to investing, and obviously your situation might be different, but this is generally how we look at our plans. The first bucket is your bank money, the money that you're going to keep liquid in the bank or some liquid source. Typically that's 6 months to 12 months of your expenses is a good general rule of thumb to keep a certain amount of money in the bank to cover often 6 months to 12 months of your expenses liquid in the bank. The second bucket of investing, we're going to make a green bucket, is the bucket of income and safety. That's bucket 2. So often that includes Social Security. Sometimes that might include a pension. And another source of income could be annuity income, where you get income from an insurance company, annuity income. And lastly, we also use types of guaranteed annuities for safer investments. And in this bucket, we might also use guaranteed annuities backed by large, highly rated insurance companies designed to help preserve a portion of your retirement assets. And that's bucket 2, the world of income and safety. We work with over 100 different insurance companies, so if you want to learn more about how those strategies work, we can talk about that when we get together. The third bucket of investing is the growth bucket, which we typically make an orange bucket, and that's the world of growth. Typically, these involve higher risk investments such as stocks or commodities. Those are typically higher risk investments. Then other types of investments could be rental real estate, for example. Rental real estate. Now, with the real estate market so high, we don't typically use much real estate in our portfolios because the real estate market's so high, but that is another type of investment. Then we have other types of investments such as corporate bonds and municipal bonds. So obviously everyone's situation is different, but typically a retirement plan for our clients might look like some kind of a combination of these investments with safe money and riskier money as well. So to discuss this further, I'm now very pleased to bring up our Vice President, Sean Burke. He has his master's in financial analysis. He was formerly with Fidelity as a financial advisor, and he manages our assets under management. I'm very pleased to bring up Sean Burke to discuss this further.
Thank you, Craig. And to elaborate a little bit further on that growth bucket, we use a basket of ETFs and institutional funds, and we work closely with some of the world's largest research institutions in order to help our clients make the most prudent investment decisions within their strategy. We make proactive changes and rebalances every 4 to 6 weeks, if not more often, whatever's most appropriate with the new information that we get in conjunction with our partners. We look forward to exploring these investment strategies with you further and finding which ones might be most appropriate to you and doing a deeper dive into our philosophy. And now I'll bring back up Craig to talk about some additional strategies.
The next thing we're going to talk about is the last 20 years of the S&P 500 history, because the S&P 500 is one of the biggest barometers of the stock market, and while the past doesn't predict the future, history does rhyme. So what we have here is the last 20 years of the S&P 500 history, and of course you remember the tech bubble. That was a great 10 years in the market, but when the tech bubble burst, the S&P went down 47%. Then we had the real estate bubble, and when that bubble burst, the S&P went down 53% from top to bottom. And since then, we went from all the way down here to all the way up there over the last 13 years. It's been one of the longest bull markets in history. And when we discuss planning with retirees, often they don't want to be in a situation where they might lose 30 or 40 or 50% of their retirement assets at this age and stage of life. So we use more proactive techniques with the goal of helping preserve your retirement assets and leaving a legacy after you're gone. And the reason that often retirees are concerned about losing money in retirement is this. If you lost 30% of your retirement assets, you don't just have to make back 30% to break even because you have less money now. You have to make back 43% on your money just to get back to where you were before the 30% drop. And if you lost 50% of your assets, you have to make back 100% on your assets to get back to where you were before the downturn in the market. That's why most retirees typically don't want to have all their money at high risk. They're looking for some balance within their portfolio that makes sense and has the right amount of risk for them. To help retirees with that goal, you met Sean a few minutes ago, who just watches the market for our clients and makes proactive changes to our portfolios over time. We also use different market-based indicators to help adjust our clients' portfolio over time. And this is one of the indicators from the Sherman Sheet, which is something I subscribe to. And they let us know on a daily basis if the stock market is in a green mode or a yellow mode or a red mode. Green, yellow, red. So let me share with you how this works over the last 20 years. Obviously, again, the past doesn't predict the future, but history does rhyme. So you guys remember when the tech bubble burst in the early 2000s, you can see here that all the indicators were red or yellow. Then in 2003, the indicators switched to green and everything was looking pretty good until early 2008 when we got the first quarterly indicator that things were red, which says we should be more defensive. That was a great call into 2008 and 9. And then in 2009, the indicators flipped back to green, and for most of the next 13 years, the indicators have been green, as you can see here, or yellow, with just a few indicators of red along the way. So this is just one of the tools we use, again, for retirees who might be concerned at this age and stage of life about their retirement plan. They want to make sure they have the right retirement plan for them. And again, everyone's situation is different, so we'll have to look at yours in detail when we get together. One of the things that I've heard in my practice, since being licensed since 1994, is that, I've heard the average stock market, bear market only goes down for maybe a year and a half or 2 years. I'm okay with, 2 years. However, one thing people might forget is how long it takes to actually come back from that 2-year or 1 to 2 year downturn. And let me show you what I'm talking about. As we discussed, this is the S&P 500 over the last 20 years. Again, the past doesn't predict the future, but history does rhyme, and this is important for people to keep in mind. Let's take a look at that theory, how fast it takes to come back from a downturn. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If you invested at the top of the market in 2001, and the market went down when the tech bubble burst for 2 to 3 years, this is how many years it took to break even. So 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Took 6 years, almost 7 years to break even. That was literally the top of the market again before it went down when the real estate bubble burst. Then, if you were investing there, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, about 5 years to break even from where you were at the top of the market in 2007 to where you were 5 years later, the break even. So while the markets might go down for 1 or 2 years at a time, it sometimes takes many years to actually recover. And that could be a challenge for a retiree that needs to live on that money because they don't have that paycheck coming in anymore. They have to create their own paycheck. So this is just something to keep in mind when you're thinking about your retirement plan. So the last topic I want to talk about briefly is estate planning. If you went to our dinner workshop, you might have met one of the estate planning attorneys we work with. They can create those dynasty trusts that they discussed that could help protect the money you leave your heirs from potential lawsuits, divorces, and creditor claims. Their trusts are also designed to help keep your assets in your family bloodline. You can meet with the attorney to discuss that further if that's of interest to you. We're looking forward to meeting with you again soon. If you haven't been to our dinner workshop at Ruth's Chris or Abe and Louie's Steakhouses, please feel free to call our firm at 1-800-807-5558. That's 1-800-807-5558. We hope this was useful for you. Thank you so much for your time. We're looking forward to seeing you again soon.